Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, and I am here once again with another episode of this podcast wherein we share experiences this guy hasn't seen. And this week I am joined by two people, but first I'm gonna introduce, my co-host and running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, thank you, Omari. Thank you for having me back. I love doing this. This is a fun one this week, and I'm really happy to be here. But enough about me, because we have another special guest. He's coming back to us, as always, from the Whatever We Want podcast, from the other podcast about wrestling, from there may be a podcast on YouTube about football that you can find. There's also a Spotify playlist you can find. His name is Super Jaz.
As Major intended. What's going on? Hey, they must really like me, guys. 3 times? Really? Now, what's going on, y'all? Y'all know I love to talk movies, especially with two of my dear friends in the entire world, as to piggyback off of what Omari said. But yeah, 2 of my good friends in the entire world. Let's get it cracking.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's right. And this guy hasn't seen, where we talk about things that one guy has seen, and in this case, the other guys haven't. And generally, when we have a guest on, as shown with the pattern of other 2 times we've had Super Jaz on the show, the guest is the one suggesting the video. So, what do we got this week, Jaz?
Oh, what we got this week? Oh, so this week, well, you can edit this out if you want to, but I'm going to say this week we got not the original pick that I thought, because the original pick was supposed to be a movie that I didn't think any grown man had seen, yet somehow this man had seen Happy Death Day. So we were supposed to do that, and then somehow this man, how in the hell? And he's about to go get the merchandise for it. I was like, oh, hey, let's see Happy Death Day. Because there's no way 2 grown-ass men had seen Happy Death Day. So, of course, because I don't give a fuck.
I haven't seen Happy Death Day.
Because I will say,
there
I don't give a fuck. I've seen Happy. Look at his man's got a merchandise hat.
There's the hat.
I have seen Happy Death Day, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and did not think I would. Saw the sequel. Can't wait till they pick a 3rd one, because they set it up for a 3rd. So I was like, well, Happy Death Day, duh. He was like, I've seen it. I was like, what? I'm sorry, say that again? So did a lot of picking and choosing and picking and choosing and picking and choosing. But finally, we settled on a movie that came out in 1967, the same year as the play by the same name, Waiting Till Dark.
You said you thought it was very play.
Yeah, I called that it was that it had to have absolutely been a play when Omari and I were talking before the show started. Yeah. So yeah, I subscribe. Not only have I watched the thing, but I have the hat. And it's not like I sought that hat out. For a little bit, I subscribed to one of those once a month nerd merch mix box things. You get $80 worth of merch for $20 a month, kind of thing. Okay. And most of the stuff was garbage. I would recommend anybody listening to this to never do one of those.
That's why they were giving this shit away for so cheap.
Yeah, I kept maybe 10 things out of the 100 different merch items, and the other stuff I gave out to different random friends that came by the house or whatever, or just straight up threw away. And that one, I don't know. I kept because I saw the
it's a
movie
Happy Death
and
Day
I was like, that movie
Why
was
not?
okay.
Yeah, why not?
To be fair, like I said, obviously this isn't the Happy Death Day, even though it was supposed to be, but somebody had to ruin it, no. But no, to be fair though, no, Happy Death Day is surprisingly a movie that is, I think, worth your time. You don't have to seek it out, but I think it's a good movie.
No, yeah, it's
I'll say to you all's viewers without hijacking your show.
for sure. I would second that sentiment. Absolutely worth watching.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I will not third the statement because I haven't seen it, but I believe them. They haven't steered me wrong yet, despite the vice versa.
I've even fed him a couple of movies that he wasn't supposed to like, and he liked.
Like Happy Death Day.
No, but yeah. So Happy Death Day.
So did we actually say the title? I'm sorry. I was wrestling around.
Dark.
Wait Until Dark is from 1967. It is not rated because it's from 1967.
Oh, really? Now
And for anybody watching along who hasn't seen it yet, it is currently living on HBO Max. If you have HBO Max, we have a recently blinded woman is terrorized by a trio of thugs while they search for a heroin stuffed doll they believe is in her apartment. It's directed by Terrence Young, and it stars Audrey Hepburn, Alan Arkin, and Richard Crenna. So, Jazz, why this movie? Is it just a random movie that you had seen recently and you were like, unlikely for Bill to have seen this?
So the funny thing about this, because the short answer is no. But no, the actual reason as to how I came about seeing this movie though is I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was a while ago. My mom is a very, very accomplished actor. And I dabble in acting myself, and she had seen this movie, over the years, growing, over her time, whatever. And she every now and then, especially when I go visit, she'll just be like, "Hey, I want you to see this movie, blah, 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 blah." So I remember at some point, she was like, "Watch this movie with me. Watch this movie." I was like, "Watch this movie. Watch it. Like, made me watch it. And I was so glad she did, because I remember sitting there and being like, "Hey, okay, I'll watch this movie with my mom, whatever." So I watched it, and I was like, this movie is very well acted, tightly written, especially for the time period, but even now, I think it captures the thriller element so beautifully. And then after I had seen it, which I didn't even know it existed beforehand, I want to say I saw it 2014, if not 15. I didn't even know it existed beforehand, but then after I saw it, I don't have dream roles that like acting wise where I want to play this role. Like, so many of my friends have my end game is Hamlet, or Death of a Salesman, or Lady Macbeth or whatever. I don't have dream roles like that. I just want to be in good shows, whoever did them, whatever. But after I saw this, I was like, okay, I have to. When I found out it was a play, I was like, I have to be in this play at some point if they ever do it within the St. Louis area.
Well, Jazz, we'll discuss that later in this episode.
Cool.
Yeah, well, that is usually a segment with the whole.
Don't spoil the later segment.
It's been so long since I've been on there. I forgot how y'all do your format.
Apparently, no, I'm messing around.
But I totally agree with your sentiments. As soon as I started, as far as what I was expecting, Audrey Hepburn, I'm familiar. I had not seen this one, but I know the era, and wasn't prepared for the play to film format that you can find pretty often in this era of movies, where they're really just directly they're directly doing it, and it's just one scene, one set, and kind of directly the play. So I wasn't necessarily prepared for that. I was prepared for more of an Audrey Hepburn film that I'm used to.
It's not the typical Audrey Hepburn, like
I'm wondering if she was on the original staged version or if they brought her in for the film.
From what I saw, looking at it just now, looking at it again off of what I just looked at on Wikipedia, just because I was thinking of the movie again.
Mm-hmm.
What I saw, she was not. I forget the name of the woman who originally was, but it was not Audrey Hepburn. I do believe that a few of the people, like I think the little girl who played Gloria was, and somebody else may have been, but Audrey Hepburn was not the original Susie Hendricks. So,
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I was prepared for an Audrey Hepburn movie like the ones I had seen prior.
Yeah.
Omari, what were you expecting?
I have not seen a lot of Miss Hepburn's catalog, but I will say this also was not kind of what I was expecting.
In this show's speak, that usually means zero. Just for clarification.
He's trying to be all real.
Sure I've seen something of hers.
I'm joking.
I haven't seen a lot of Audrey Hepburn, if any. But I'm not gonna say 100% zero because she's like a legend or whatever. The bottom line is it's
a legend or whatever.
Well, she is a legend.
Have you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's?
That is a Audrey Hepburn movie, and I'm not entirely sure.
As I recall, I think we both kind of liked it.
Roman Holiday.
Well, that's one thing we've got. Anyway, sorry. He tried to
My Fair Lady.
Okay, no, I probably haven't seen it. Let's say, there's like a 99% chance I haven't seen any Audrey Hepburn movies.
I haven't seen any other Audrey Hepburn movies I can recall, so I'm just messing with you.
But I knew Breakfast at Tiffany's was her, so when I heard this was an Audrey Hepburn film, I'm like, this is something like whatever Breakfast at Tiffany's is. I was not, and I also said on New Show, as Bill will attest, I have a habit of not reading the summaries before clicking on the video. So a horror movie about people chasing a blind lady around an apartment so they can get a heroin doll was not anywhere near on what I was expecting in this movie at all. But no, I'm, genuinely surprised and everything. But yeah, so I was expecting Wait Until Dark. I'm like, this is good in 60s. There's some black and white love film type shit like Casablanca, whatever, all those things. So this was far from what I was expecting. Yes, so that's what I was expecting. The opposite of what I got. Pretty much.
Like some old school 60s.
Wait Until Dark sounds like meet me at the hotel at night, wait until dark. We can't show our love in public. 50s acting. So that's what I was expecting. No, we mustn't in public. Wait until dark, some shit like that.
So as the movie starts rolling, what are you thinking?
Wait a minute.
Are you confirmed? Do you feel like you're being confirmed?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm like, there's a guy sewing a doll. Wait, this lady just talked about heroin. Apparently, she's smuggling.
Why doesn't heroin look like candy bars?
Or something easier.
Okay, we're smuggling heroin. Is this a heroin smuggling movie now? Wait, what the fuck? So that was the initial reaction to it. But yeah, and you gotta, because I just didn't know what to do, because I'm like, all right, this is clearly a different vein of what I was talking about, especially once you meet Harry Rote Jr. for the first time and he's just straight up talking like a fucking mafia boss. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. We're gonna be. I didn't expect it to go into the blind lady at the apartment is the focus. I thought they would go on some mission to get this doll. and just we go to various locations while they're trying to track it down. No, it's here. It's in this apartment, and there's this blind lady who is the main character of the show. But yeah.
To be fair, the only person I think that was doing the like typical like I'm 50s acting was the kid with the skis that like helped her at one point. He's like, I'm gonna go away on my trip, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh god, get him out of here, please. But other than nobody else did that shit. So.
Yeah, Bill, some initial reactions from yourself?
So as I stated, I was expecting the Audrey Hepburn kind of movies that I had seen, which are not really my thing. And so I was just kind of like expecting to half ignore this film, to be honest with you. And then what did I have to do? I ran somewhere right before I was going to start up the movie. And as I was running, the battery on my phone died. And so when I got back to the house, started up the movie, that's when the moment I realized like, my phone's dead. All right, go over and plug that up on the charger in the kitchen. All right, now I was expecting to be like on my phone most of this movie, and now I don't have that saving grace, and it immediately captivated me, and it started because this is the kind of play. I don't know if this is what you were going into, but this is the kind of play that I like to be in, and these are the kind of plays that I enjoy watching. And so, although I know it's not the greatest thing in the world, it hits a perfect. These kind of movies hit a perfect spot for me. But yeah, so at the beginning, when we start dealing with the three guys, especially once we're at the three main male actors inside the apartment in that first scene, and that whole shakedown starts to occur, I'm fully invested in this movie.
Yeah. Second, Mr. Harry Rote Jr. comes in with the fucking demeanor and the sunglasses. I'm like, all right, this dude's cool. A little too cool. I don't know what to think about.
He was like super duper
cool.
He
was just fucking like, laid back, and they just all the plans in the case, and then they started coming up. Your fingerprints are all over the place. I ain't touching nothing but this knife or this thing right here. And
I had seen the movie, so I kind of like knew to look for it now. But if you actually watch, he did not touch shit. I was like, this man is good. It's so tightly, beautifully written. I love this movie.
Might I recommend gloves? You can get them in the box at like 500 and so. I'm like, to be fair, other criminals. Exactly. Yes, you should probably have some fucking gloves on. They're just eating sandwiches and shit at the apartment. What are we waiting?
They're eating sandwiches.
I mean, to their credit, they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, that's a little bit. A little bit of a critique is it's a little sloppy there right before that scene, before the murder is introduced.
Yeah,
it's a little. What's going on? Why are they here at this random apartment? I guess they were like. There's a little bit of like.
I was expecting the girl to show up and get her doll, like, okay, you're here, where's my doll? Type shit, because they kept talking about Lisa and all this stuff. Like, Lisa, where's the doll?
There's a moment there where I don't feel like it's explained well, and I'm sitting there wait, why?
It makes sense story-wise, but it's probably not super explained to the audience. If I can recall, it's supposed to be that the woman Lisa, because nobody's name is their actual name, but the woman Lisa got the doll and with Rote, but then Rote executed her and then called the two guys on some like, I don't know you, but I'm gonna pretend Like I'm, getting you for a different job, and now you work for me.
Gotcha.
That's what.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. That's what happens once Rote gives his explanations, but I feel like they set it up to where the two guys are almost cold calling their old friend Lisa's apartment.
Yeah.
I thought Lisa had Lisa had told them to come there.
Okay. That I guess that's the case.
That's why they were expecting, like, wait a minute, are you sure this is Lisa's apartment? Or
because they're like, Lisa know how to type and stuff like that.
It was either Lisa's apartment or they told him to come to this apartment because this is where the stuff is, and they believed it was Lisa's apartment. Come to find out, Rote had duped them.
Right.
And that's why Lisa was dead, because she was originally in on it, because in the airport, Rote and Lisa are walking away together, but then he kills her because Rote don't give a shit about anybody.
Yeah.
You want to start bouncing out standout moments?
Like standout moments and stuff. Sure. It's the first standout moment for you.
For
I guess any of you, Bill, Jazz,
you.
But I went first on initial reaction. All right. So first thing down for me, aside from Rote's introduction itself, one of the things I found that stood out for me in a funny sense was when they grabbed the tripod and the chair and started backing him down using the camera.
Well, they started using it like a mace.
Yeah.
I was just like, what are we doing? Because they just
like a mace.
He's like, because he's got a knife, and then they're like, tripod, chair. Yeah. Back up and give us that knife now, yeah?
They went right into double team attack mode, almost like they'd done it like a million times before, too.
Yeah.
Like, I know what to do.
So I thought that was a cool scene. It helped add the whole, weird tension type thing to it. But just, that stood out to me just because the idea of flail and shield as camera and chair it was just a funny image to me, and it was played entirely seriously. Like, it's not meant to be a gag. Dude was just literally like, oh, so I kind of wanted a fight to break out. I wanted to see him wield the flail camera.
Smacked young Alan Arkin in the mouth. Who is
which one's Alan Arkin?
Alan Arkin was
Rote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gives off such strong Andy Garcia vibes.
Yeah.
When he's younger.
Yeah. Who was Mike? Because that guy looked familiar.
Mike
Richard Crenna.
Yeah, Richard Crenna.
He looked familiar. Probably just because he's like 60s actor. 60s actor, probably in a lot of stuff.
Out of everybody in this movie, except for the main cast, except for the little girl Gloria, Alan Arkin is the only one still living.
Damn.
Yeah, like I said, he's 88. So he's still doing movies. Like, he was in Argo a few years ago with Ben Affleck, all that stuff. So yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. But yeah, Bill, you got a moment to pick standout?
I'd like to highlight all of the characters in this movie that tell this blind woman to look at things.
It does happen a few times.
It happens several times. You got my boy with the skis, who's ridiculous, who is absolutely ridiculous. He is dialed up.
He's in another movie.
He is dialed up. Yeah. But he I think twice in the conversation goes, "Next time you see me," and I go, "She ain't gonna see you."
I didn't think go ahead.
And then Mike several times in the movie goes, "Look over here, Susie. Look over here. See, Susie, look at this." And it always kind of means, check this.
Yeah.
Come put your hands on this or whatever. But
the whole look at this.
Look at this. Look at this.
What you see here?
In my head.
They say it's so nonchalant that you don't necessarily register that they're actually saying look.
Yeah.
To someone who can't see. But you're so right.
I will say, at first, when she came into the apartment and she had her whole like, Gloria, I know you're here, or so, while they were like hiding, I'm like, so she's blind apparently, or is she? Is she faking it? Does she see them all? Is she about to like call the cops or something? Like, does she actually see them? But she's like, I don't know these men. For all they know, I'm blind. Oh, so. Oh, weird. I could have sworn Gloria was in the house.
The fact that it's just some
because she
definitely
some, like,
petite woman, and she's like 3 big men. I don't see anybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody.
Oh man. Wow, Gloria must have left the fridge open or something.
Oh no.
That's how she seemed at first. And then I was like, her husband comes home and she's talking with him, and I'm like, okay, no, she's actually blind. I thought she was gonna get the drop on him because she's like, there were these 3 men here earlier, and I pretended I was blind so they couldn't, they didn't attack me, but shit's serious. That's not what happened.
How about that this movie predates 911?
That's what. Oh yes, I noticed that. They're like, okay, what's the emergency number?
And it was 7 numbers, like, and they had to actually, she had to be like, I think I know, yeah.
And I'm like, wait, 911 wasn't.
Or
it's
just the era where you
thing.
just dialed 0 and told the operator to do whatever you wanted.
The operator had to be annoyed as shit with her.
Yeah, she called. Like,
she called the operator so many times.
Oh man, it was probably the worst job in the world. The amount of people who called the operator because it was a free available number that they knew to call.
And you can't not, give people the option to have the operator.
Right. No, yeah. The amount of people who called the operator just because they knew no matter what, somebody had to answer them. Like, those are dangerous people.
Right. There were probably some people who had nobody to talk to.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there's been movies about that shit too, made in a creepy fashion, where some dude just gets obsessed with the operator.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's you.
Oh
again.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Hi,
it's
Sally,
probably called the
Bob.
operator, and I bet it exists. Jazz, do you got a standout moment from the film you'd like to throw out there and make sure we highlight?
I mean, there are a few standout moments, but one part that I always like, I love the opening, and when you realize that Rote dupes the guys, like he actually is on some like I tricked y'all work for me now,
some like 5D chess shit.
Right, but I love, because I mean it's not fair when he tells them to put their weapons on the table but doesn't put his on the table. But I love when he says, why not? And he's like, Geraldine, he's like, why not? Because she's the referee. I just love the way he says that. It's just so slick. I like when you find out that Susie's not stupid. And she's like, well, everybody's been messing with the blinds. And it's like, oh, shit, she noticed.
Or like, the sergeant was dusting everywhere. Is it dirty?
Yeah. I noticed that with that and the dude's footsteps on the stairs. Like, the second she noticed the creak, I'm like, okay, so she really is picking up on the whole heightened blind person senses.
I love that when you find out she's not stupid.
Because her husband earlier, she's like,
I want to highlight that moment because I feel like they do that tone and moment very well of a stern moment that should present some pause, but then the actors both play it to the point where you as the audience, you go, oh, he's being very stern with his wife and controlling, and then you realize very quickly it's no, he loves her and she is a new blind person, and his thought on this is like, train at it like you're an athlete training for a sport kind of thing. Is his thought on this, and that's why he's like, push, like, go for it.
Should I
be the
champion
best
blind lady? Yes.
Yeah. And then he pauses and he has an internal moment that you can,
it might have been a bit much.
That was harsh. Let me pull it back. I think that moment is played really well, and it shows. I think that that kind of mindset that the couple has had towards her blindness, I feel like shows in the later. And not to diminish her skills, it could also just be her genuine ability to take on these new
Yeah.
capabilities. So yeah, I think that whole thing is played really well.
But yeah, I did like how you could see her putting together things, because when I saw the squeaky step and I saw them playing with the blinds, I was like, she's got to hear that, right? Is she going to be like, what are you looking for? I was wondering about that, but then later she's like, they kept messing with the blinds, and then someone would call, and then this, that, and the other.
And the way she said it too, it's getting dark early, right? Like, yeah. Why is everyone messing with them? I'm like, Susie's not stupid. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Piggyback on that, she hatches a scheme with the little girl to be like, all right, so there's a payphone outside, right? So you're going to call me as soon as you see somebody going to that payphone. Don't actually call me. Just call me, let it ring twice and then hang up. And then I'll know that somebody just used the payphone. And then she gets one of these men who keep visiting her gets another important phone call. And then the second they're done with their phone call, she gets her 2-ring call and she gets this look like, bitch, I knew it.
Mike!
No, that was the second one. The second one when Mike called. And
that was good.
Yeah, that's
a standout. Because she thought, out of everybody that was fucking with her, she thought he was the friend. And it's like, no.
Well, no, yeah, when she gets told about it. But the look, I love the look she has when the double ring happens.
Oh,
and,
the first time, yeah.
And it's just this sly look of like, bitch, I knew y'all were playing me. Like,
this is not stupid. That's what makes this movie so good. I think that's what makes this movie so good is it's not just that they're playing this kind of, unassuming blind, like, kind of small blind woman. But you find out that they're playing the blind woman, but the blind woman's not stupid the whole time. I think that's what makes this movie so good.
Yeah. I wonder if that, I think it's a much truer horror thriller film that came out in the last decade. I wonder if that is at all inspired by this or if it's just lateral thinking. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I'm not.
I'm trying
there is a film. There's a film that came out within the last decade of like robbers breaking into a house to rob a house, and they're not realizing that it's a deaf woman or a blind woman who is incredibly capable, and she immediately shuts her house down, panic room style, and the movie flips to where now it's almost like a monster hunted scenario, but the monster is a blind woman in her own blind woman trap house.
You're not talking about Don't Breathe with the ex-Special Forces dude, are you?
I don't think so. I think it's a woman. It's a blind woman.
See, that's why I don't know. Because I was honestly, when I was watching this again before we were doing you all's show, I was thinking, I'm surprised nobody has done this.
Yeah.
Since, because I think you could modernize this for now and, you change. Obviously, heroin is not a big deal in 2022 as much as it might have been in 67, so change it to gold or some shit. But otherwise, I'm surprised nobody has done it. So maybe they have. But I was thinking, like, Don't Breathe, the kids break into the guy's house, but you find out the guy's ex-Special Forces, so then he shuts his house down and kills him. That's what I thought. Otherwise, I don't know what you're referring to, no.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that's nothing. That's not new.
Yeah.
I think obviously, if we're going to do the entirety of the film, unless we're saving it, there is obviously the last standout moment is the refrigerator when he's trying to kill her. Yeah. And he puts the towel in and where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Unplugs it and then it just goes black. Oh man. And when I saw my mom, because again, my mom wanted me to see this with her, and I was so glad she did. But when I saw it with her, she's like, "Where is it?" And my mom was just like, "Go, Susie, go, go, Susie, go." I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, just the thought of turning off every light.
No, I like
Oh,
that
so
scene of her
you have to see
breaking
what I see.
everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's smart. Do that. I was wondering why she didn't break the light in the like photo room. And at first I was like, well, she's like, I could break all these lights, but Sam really cares about his photography and his hobby. I'm leaving this one. I'm not breaking this one. I can break all the other ones.
You find out, right? She didn't break it because she had to keep the trap.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when they first initially come in,
Yeah.
they can't just come into an all black apartment.
Why not? Second they open that door, just fucking start swinging.
At first I was thinking that it was going to be like a special like photography projector light lamp thing, like a special curing lamp that is on like a timer or something, and all of a sudden we're gonna get a shot of a timer going like click 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 ding, and then the light's gonna go off.
Oh man.
That'd
be pretty sick.
Yeah, I didn't. If I'm honest, I didn't love the end of the right before the end of Mike, and the playing out of that scene, and going to Mike going to 100 on Susie, and then immediately down to 0 of like, well. Oh, all right, fine. If you're not going to give it to us, we're killing him anyway, and we'll just get out of here. Okay, bye. That part was a little weird, and I feel like it affected his death a little bit for me.
Yeah, when they were like when they just cut to him getting run over in the parking lot, and I'm like, that doesn't even look like Rote getting hit by that car.
Bro, Rote killed the shit out of Carlino.
Yeah, that was him killing the sergeant.
He runs him over twice. It was like, damn.
Yeah,
I was like, he killed the fuck out of that man.
But that's what I was thinking when he hit him. I was like, that looks more like Carlito got hit than Rote. And then sure enough, Rote comes in like, I got the drop on them. You see,
they're a bunch of amateurs. We've said it several times, but let's do a standout moment alone for Alan Arkin as that dude.
Yeah,
he's playing. I guess you could say he's playing 3 different parts, but he's not really trying that hard with the 2. But it's fun. It's interesting. It elevates this movie without his part in it, and then it's just Aubrey Hepburn doing the blind shtick.
Yeah,
and it's okay. but Alan Arkin as Rote really brings this movie up, I feel.
Like any performance, play, film, TV show, any acting performance is only good not just with one, but if you have the 2 main leads, both of them got to be hitting, and they both were. So, yeah. Y'all tell me real before like so this isn't necessarily a standout moment for me, but this is a standout moment apparently for everybody who watches this movie. Y'all tell me, when you think he's down and then he springs up right to attack her, is that a very like captivating, crazy, oh my God moment? You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, not for us. After we grew up in the age of jump scares
in a different time, because.
But I'm sure that moment then was
definitely
was a highly dramatic moment.
Okay, because that's supposed to be not necessarily the first, but one of the best jump scares ever, or at least around that time. When I first saw this movie with my mom, it almost took me out of the damn movie because I thought it was so goddamn corny. But, when shit has been ground broken so many damn times, then, you get it. But at the time, it probably was because, Frankenstein was the scariest shit back in the day. And
it's just hard to.
So, yeah.
I mean, how do you judge this movie to The Departed?
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
it's
better because The Departed's overrated. But yeah,
okay.
but I
I
can
think this movie is better
like,
than The Departed.
I mean,
That's fair.
you grade them on two different scales, but I think
Right? Yeah. No,
I think
that's
The
what I'm
Departed
saying.
is
Like, how do you compare
I
a
know what you
movie?
I know what you're saying.
A movie from then, even some of the best movies from then, to some of the best movies of today. It's really hard when you talk about the amount of money invested into movies of today, the technology we're able to use,
Facts.
the knowledge of
What came
history,
before?
and it's I'll say Children of Men. How do you compare this film to Children of Men? They're two. You're talking about apples and an Apple touchpad.
Good. That was good.
Apples and an Apple touchpad. I like that. But yeah, no, I agree about the whole jump scare thing. Like you said, it's probably great for the time, but like Jaz said, it almost took me out. At the same time, I also didn't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it was like, what the hell? They did a jump scare at the same time. It was like, oh, well, there's more to the movie. I thought she got him. Especially after they did the little freeze frame when he fell on the ground after being stabbed. It was
They did do a weird freeze frame.
I'm like, oh, that's them confirming he is dead. Okay. I guess that's how they did that back then. Nope, never mind.
The thing that got me about that part though, it wasn't just that it was the way he did it.
When it came on the ground, like,
like really,
and then her scream is mighty.
Yeah.
But she's also a blind woman who just got grabbed by the ankle. I'm sure that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
So our next moment, Jaz, if you recall, is usually selecting the roles we would want to play. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and say, if I am directing this play for the stage here locally, Omari is in town, I am casting myself as the sergeant character, as Carlito. I am casting Jaz as Mike, and I am casting Omari as Rote. Does anybody have any qualms on that?
No, I think he would make a great Rote.
And vice versa with the other two roles. I think those will work as well.
I think that's just very accurate archetype casting. I'm not saying that any of us couldn't. I know Rote is the funnest.
Yeah,
he's the funnest. I don't know if that is a word. The most fun.
Because I agree. I agree. Like that was the most appetizing for me. Was the Rote.
Good word, appetizer. But
So Rote, and then if not Rote, then like a Mike or something like that. But one of the like opponents. So I agree, and you as the Carlito, I can definitely see that. That's especially when you like to bring up like high school and the acting roles we played like that and stuff. I could definitely see you as a Carlino.
Yeah, that's the kind of part I get.
Yeah.
Go to the refrigerator and get a plate of meat and make a sandwich.
That's what I'm saying now.
And then I make some business out of that shit. I make some business. I fucking steal.
That is the dumbest shit ever. Like, okay, we're here to do a job, but let me just start eating.
Like he set up
your ass down,
like plate, like tons of meat and cheese. Like he was not only gonna make one sandwich.
I mean, the note said, "Make yourself at home."
This is true. They did think it was Lisa's apartment
at that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. When I guess now I should say what I was gonna say earlier.
Yeah.
The part. Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, just in case you were about ready to declare what role you wanted. That's why I was stopping you earlier.
But yeah, you can say
right. Yeah, I was going to, and then I was like, oh wait, because I knew what you were doing. So no, now I will finish, and I said that I did not know the movie existed until I saw it some years ago with my mom, and then like I said, I don't have dream roles, but I had after seeing this, and I found out it was a play. I was like, okay, I want to be in this if they ever do this in the St. Louis area. And it was the only time I have ever written that they have on some audition forms. They were like, if you do not get this part, will you settle for another one? And respectfully, they didn't give it to me. It was okay. But that was the only time I'd ever written no. Because I was like, if I get this, if I do this play, I have to be wrote. I have to be. And I got wrote. And I had so much fucking fun doing it. Oh my God. And the woman who, one of my really, really good friends played Carlino, actually. And they had another guy to play Mike, who is a friend of mine through acting, and he was really good as Mike. And then the woman who has now since become one of my good friends, who played Susie. First of all, she did such a great job playing blind, and it was so much fun terrorizing and pretending to kill her or whatever, or trying to kill her every night. But yeah, she did good, and the person they got to play the little girl, it was beyond amazing to be the youngest one in the cast, which didn't make any sense.
You're revealing this late in the game that you've actually been in the play?
Huh? What'd you say?
You're revealing this late in the game that you've actually been in it. You could have said that at the beginning.
I thought that we weren't going
if it was that.
Well, yeah, okay. I was like, because it would have been, and then, okay, my bad.
Yeah, right?
I didn't know it was going to be that. I thought it was just you going to be like, and I've never had a dream role, but I guess if I had any dream role, it would be.
Yeah,
I thought that's what you were about to say.
It would be, and I've already played it.
I did not want to. I didn't want to throw shit out of whack, my man. Okay, but no, I.
That's awesome.
That is.
Yeah, I was. It was so much fun, and the funniest thing about it is that it just came up in my Facebook got hacked, so I couldn't see in my memories, but. The woman who played Susie when we did it, she just shared a picture of my friend my friend who played Carlino, her and me, just like during the cast party, showed a picture. And actually, Wait Until Dark, our thing just finished 6 years ago, like probably a few days ago, was like the 6 year anniversary of when it finished when we did it. But yeah, no, I had to kind of like brush up on my like stoicness of not having any emotion. Yeah. Came in the play itself. It's not so much that Roke comes in and doesn't touch anything. He comes in with just gloves on the entire time. Yeah. And I do come in with a rug, and everything takes place in the apartment. There's no, we're going to do the airport first, we're going to do across the street. You just talk about all this shit or whatever like that. Yeah. We don't go in the bedroom. Like the bedroom is off stage, all this shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I figured there would be that moment. You would open the play with maybe just a spotlight near front stage, the real set not lit, and it's just that like old man and the lady yelling at her is what I was guessing, and then that gets cleared really quickly, and then we go into the apartment.
Well, no, so the initial scene in the play is actually when the Carlino and Mike come into the apartment for the first time.
Okay.
So that scene where they come into the apartment, they start eating up all the food and all that shit, and then Rote comes in and is like, got your ass. That is the first scene in the play.
Got it.
And they're just describing everything that happens and all this. Everything takes place in the Hendrix's apartment, like the living room of their apartment. But yeah, and then I had to go from being like very stoic to then at the end, just like, give me the doll, Susie, and all crazy and shit. And I just got to take water and throw gasoline everywhere and all this shit. Oh, it was so much fun. But yeah. So if I was going to be anyone, it was Rote, and I got fortunate enough to play Rote. And oh man, made some.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Good friends off of it. Yeah, like for real.
Fantastic. That's one thing I love about just theater in general, the fact that you can make more and more friends off after like each performance. You like forge bonds with these people, which is cool.
It was so much fun terrorizing her every night. We played off each other so well. She was so much fun to play off of. I had so much fun doing that show.
Yeah. Anytime in any of the neighborhood group chat spaces, whether it's the Facebook group or the neighborhood social media app thing, if anybody's ever just like, I'm older and my husband passed and I'm looking for friends or things to do, I always throw a comment on those posts of like, I have literally never met more welcoming,
Yes,
kind groups of people than community theater. And they are 100% always looking for volunteers. You don't have to be an actor to be involved in the community.
Yeah.
And they'll bring you in, and you'll have easy 20 nights every 6 months that you could commit to hanging out with a really cool group of people. It may be building sets, it may be watching plays, doing that kind of thing, but there'll also be like group dinners and all that kind of stuff along with it. But it's just like, it's just a space to meet just very good people usually.
I agree.
Particularly in community theater, until you get like the like people who think they're too, I don't know, like they think they're the Robert De Niro's of community theater. They're like, bro, get out of here. We are all volunteering.
Yeah,
there are a few out there. I know what you mean. But no, some of the funnest times in my life have been with community theater. Facts.
All right, final thoughts on the film. Let's go, Omari first.
I thought the movie was good in an old school way. Like I enjoyed it. Like it definitely had, like we've mentioned, some like tropes of its time and all that stuff. At the same time, it was better than I was expecting, especially considering it was entirely different from what I was expecting. I'll take random crime drama, horror thriller, whatever it was, over a not today, my love. Type shit.
See Audrey Hepburn's name. It's like, oh god.
I didn't even know if that's her thing, but I just like wait till dark 1950s movie. Audrey Hepburn. I'm like, all right, black and white. But no,
First of all, it was color. So there you go.
Exactly. That's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, it's in color. Okay. Maybe I'm bad with my anachronisms on when black and white films stopped. Clearly, that is the case. Obviously, Singing in the Rain was, 1940? So, clearly, color film had been around.
Wizard of Oz was what, like 39 or 40, like early 40s?
Sure. And yes, I have seen that at least. But, anyway, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I'm very happy I watched it, and it was good. I liked it. I liked Wrote helped make the picture, like we said. I'll give shout outs to Michael too. Like, I feel like I've seen him in a lot of other stuff though. I may not have.
What? Richard Crenna, you mean?
The guy that played Mike.
Yeah.
He was in all of the Rambo movies.
Fair
You've
enough.
seen Rambo.
I've seen First Blood.
I think he's his like sergeant from Vietnam or whatever.
Okay. So he did go on to do a lot of stuff. I'm not just making that up. Okay. There we go. Because at first when I saw Alan Arkin and I saw that guy, I'm like, he looks familiar. That must be Alan Arkin.
Yeah.
So, Bill, what did you think of the movie? What were your final thoughts?
I thought it was really solid. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, like I think you said, well, it's got some of the tropes of this time. I'm not gonna, it's not gonna go into my top 50 movies, but it's real solid, and it's very watchable, and particularly if you're someone who enjoys the theater, I think, because this most of this film feels like a filmed play.
Yeah.
and I think if you're a fan of like that kind of play, like the man who came to dinner kind of thing, then you should definitely give this a watch. Jazz?
Ah, man. Rewatching this was such a fun time because, like I said, when I initially watched it and didn't know what to expect, and my mom was like, "Come on, watch it with me," and I'm so glad she did. She was the one saying, "Go, Susie, go, Susie, go." This time I watch it by myself, and in my head, I'm like, "Go, Susie, go." It was, I got reminded through watching this again before coming on you all's show. I got reminded just how tightly written I thought it was. I love when you have characters that seem that they're helpless, but the whole time they're not stupid. Like I was saying, Audrey Hepburn got a nomination for an Oscar for this movie, and I thought it made so much sense because she did such an amazing job, like playing convincingly blind. Like I said, I love the idea of characters that aren't just your typical. I can, run into a room and defeat everyone. Like, they're just everyday people, but they end up standing up for themselves and all that shit. No, I loved this show, obviously, which is why I wanted to be in the thing, and thankfully was able to be in it. But no, I loved this show, and I thought that the two main leads, and not just the two main leads, but everybody did an amazing job, let alone the writing was great. And like I said, I'm surprised. I mean, maybe it has been redone or similar or somewhat redone, like what you were saying. But if not, I'm surprised that there hasn't been Wait Until Dark for the 21st century, just like redone, and we just redo it with gold or Bitcoin or some shit. I don't fucking know. But it's just, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't fucking
got a Bitcoin in it.
Right, the dog got Bitcoin. But no, I really enjoy this movie. I bought the play, like just the script, before I was in the thing, but I bought it off of Amazon just to have it. Same with August Osage County. I haven't been in that, but I bought that. Sometimes when I see like shows that like really strike me, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy that script. And I bought like a used copy of that. So yeah, because August Osage County is a good one too if y'all haven't seen it. So yeah,
cool.
But no, ultimately, at the end of the day, amazing movie. I love it, and I think that it has the 60s is painted on it, but it's not the typical I'm a 60s movie. Can't you tell? Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Basically like what Omari was saying. No, it's not that typical bullshit. It's like, this is like, that's probably what makes it such a standout is it came out in the 60s, but it's not typical 60s. It's like, no, this is crime thriller that would have worked in the 90s, the thousands, the 2020s. So
yeah, definitely felt a timeless aspect to it. Even with it being about heroin, because I don't think heroin is the throwaway thing that you think it is nowadays. I think people still consider heroin a big deal and illegal and hard to come by.
Well, the reason why I say, and that's why I say is not it's a big deal and obviously illegal. I just don't think that it's as hard to come by in 2022, depending as it was in '67. So, but, who knows?
I sure as hell don't.
I don't have heroin laying around, so
neither do I. It's not that abundant. But yeah, anyway, speaking of things that are abundant, I have an abundant amount of videos on this channel. You can catch those, including videos of this show. That's right, especially those with this guy here that this guy hasn't seen. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube with the Whatever We Want podcast. New episodes every week, every Wednesday with this gentleman above me. I also have a Twitter and Twitch that's Giotavi, Giotavi. Come on in, stop Stop
on by.
Thank you. And yes, and like I said, the Whatever We Want podcast I do with this guy. But anything else you want to tell these guys, people, Jazz, since you go, guess where are you from? Where can people find you, etc.
So, my bad. So, if you want to find me, then you can go ahead and look me up under the name Super Jazz, which would be spelled SUPERJAZ. Anywhere you stream your music, you can go ahead and look me
and
up.
find me. It's JAZ. Anywhere you stream your music, you can look it up and find me.
SUPERJAZ. Look that up and find me. There you go. Anywhere you stream your music on any streaming platform for music, look me up under that name. You can go ahead and check out the debut album I dropped, the debut solo album I dropped last year. The name is My Secret Identity. You may have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, because I'm not so famous yet. Also on Twitter, you can go ahead and look me up under the name Super Jazz 2. So that'd be Super Jazz number 2. And of course, you can go ahead and look me up on Instagram under the name Forever Super Jazz. The word forever is spelled correctly. And one more thing. So we've come to the entirety of the show, and there's one more matter that we can we could talk about. Unless, like, you have something to say.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna say it. I think I know what you're gonna mention.
Are we not gonna say it here?
Well, we can mention it here. Go ahead.
Or are we gonna say it on the other show?
Go ahead.
It started on the other show, so I feel like
other show.
Okay, I'll wait.
So I'll say the next thing is what we're going to watch next week.
Oh, yes.
So here at This Guy Hasn't Seen, we are going to start our 2022 non-denominational holiday spectacular.
I love it.
Beginning with Jack Frost, 1998. It is key that you watch the one from 1998 because there are other ones.
All right, Jack Frost, 1998.
Is this the comedy with Michael Keaton? Is that what the one you're talking about?
Yes, Jazz.
Right. Okay. Yeah. As opposed to the one where he was like,
where it's a man-eating snowman.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a horror movie. But yes, all right. So 1998, Jack Frost, Michael Keaton.
That's a fun movie.
All right, and we cut it off with Jazz talking about. Bill, you got anything to say to the folks out there?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week with Jack Frost. Y'all have a good one. Adios, this.